is a spiritual deity. Freedom and liberty and justice shall fight for you. When you fight for freedom with all your soul, take it from me. This is Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB, the voice of the nation, the voice of the rising sun.
Special announcement from the leadership of Biafra government in exile.
Good evening, wonderful people of Biafra, and welcome to another Sunday broadcast coming to you from Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB. The agitation for the restoration of the independent state of Biafra is fundamentally built on the principles of non-violence. This is very key. It is important that everyone, both home and overseas, understand this. The restoration of our homeland is based on the principles of non-violence. Under no circumstances, therefore, should anyone genuinely involved, overtly or covertly, directly or indirectly, physically or spiritually, in this holy and noble project, take to violence, criminality, or intimidation or harassment in any shape or form. Biafra government in exile is all about the demonstration that the government and peoples of Biafra are still alive today. Even though we lost the so-called civil war, which in actual fact and in all intents and purposes was indeed a genocidal war. Because Nigeria attacked Biafra with the intent of exterminating our race from the face of the earth. For me, for people who are transparent and honest, that was genocide. A serious crime against humanity. Until today, no one has been held accountable. Even though most of the perpetrators of those crimes are still alive today and walking free. However, the remnants of Biafrans who did not die to war still exist and are now actively agitating for self-determination, which is their human right, to exit from a forced abusive union with Nigeria to be a free independent nation under God. Our purpose is to exit from a forceful, abusive union with Nigeria and to be a free, independent nation under God. In seeking for freedom and liberty, it is also the duty and responsibility of the government to do everything within its power and its ability to ensure that every Biafran, from Igbo to Ijaw, Ikwere to Ogoni, Ishan, Efik, Ogoja, Isoko, Igbo Akere, and many other ethnic nationalities within our territory, are protected from the evil of terrorism, banditry, and kidnapping. Every Biafra life matters. We shall not stand idly by and watch jihadists, bandits, terrorists inflict untold pain and anguish on our people. Therefore, using acceptable means of organizing local community and neighborhood security initiatives, we will mobilize our local communities to safeguard our land and deter the criminals, especially terrorist Fulani herdsmen, from kidnapping, killing, and raping our people. The cardinal focus of Biafra government in exile will remain to ensure that Biafra leaves Nigeria and become once again an independent, free, democratic, prosperous nation it was originally meant to be. BGIE is fully engaged in Biafra exit program through a non-violent approach. We believe that all indigenous peoples, wherever they may be, in southeast Nigeria, in north-central Nigeria, Middle Belt region, and indeed the southwestern part of Nigeria, have the right to self-determination, a right recognized internationally and contained in the United Nations Charter on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. Since 1966 especially, leading into the beginning of the war in 1967 until present, Biafrans, especially Ndibo, have been under severe marginalization, oppression, and systemic genocide. We shall continue to put pressure on the international community and continue to appeal to democratic nations who profess freedom, liberty, justice, and the pursuit of happiness, decency, and respect of human dignity, that the time is right to allow Biafrans to decide for themselves in a peaceful, United Nations supervised plebiscite where they want to belong, how they want to be governed, and who they want to associate with. It is a God-given right to every human being, to indigenous peoples all over the world. To get to our destination, however, it is important we all unite. We come together in diaspora and in the homeland to demonstrate our resolve to be free, to be prosperous, and to be a leading light in our continent. Because a city set on a hill cannot be hidden. Once again, I want to sound this pertinent warning, which I have done severally, that we either unite now or we die, and our dreams and hopes of future generations die with it. If we do not come together as a people, at home and in diaspora, the inevitable is bound to happen. These dangerous killer headsmen, bandits, and kidnappers, who are effectively the foot soldiers of extreme Islamic fundamentalism, the front line of jihad, will descend upon us in a final onslaught designed to annihilate us, take over our land, and impose Islamic religion forcefully on our children. We either unite and defend our territory or we die. It is that simple. The Nigerian government and her security forces have proven to be the key sponsors and supporters of these marauding invaders. The government of Buhari is complicit in the genocide that is going on in Biafra land, in Alibo in particular, and other areas in southern Nigeria, including Benue, TV land, and southern Kaduna. It is time for everyone to come together. Continuous divisions and duplications of efforts and resources, especially to fulfill personal and individualistic ambitions and materialism, will only set us further back and tear us apart from our desired destination. I therefore call on all traditional rulers to join this effort, for you are the custodians of the land. I equally call on all our bishops and church leaders, and all general overseers, all town union leaders, market union leaders, and all youth and men and women groups all over Biafra land. It is now time that we rise up and recognize that we are in danger of being exterminated. These terrorists, bandits, and kidnappers will not make any distinctions. They will not respect anyone, whether a clergy or traditional ruler, or even a politician. They will kill, maim, and destroy, because that is the mission of their Lord and Master, the devil. For the devil only comes but to steal, to kill, and to destroy. BGIE, together with partners in the struggle, are determined to defend our land, protect our people, and restore the independent state of Biafra, and protect her borders from terrorists and jihadists. We call for support from all and sundry. Freedom-loving countries of the world, civilized society, human rights groups, church leaders, traditional rulers, politicians, town and market unions, youths, and all men and women of good conscience. The governance structures we have put in place and continue to work on at home and in exile will enable us to be ready to deliver in a transparent, accountable, and effective fashion the freedom and security we desperately need. Every Biafran should now be very clear as to the danger on our very doorstep. The terrorist Fulanis are battle ready, and time is running out. We must unite, pool our resources together with the sole purpose of preventing another Biafra genocide, restore the nation of Biafra, and defend her territory. I want to thank you all, and may God bless you. I urge you to stay with us every Sunday from 4 p.m. and follow and like us on YouTube thereafter. May God bless and protect our land, and may He bless our veterans and grant our heroes eternal rest. Thank you, and God bless you.
This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, bringing you the news summaries for the week. In the news this week, IPOB denies involvement in Enugu Labour Party campaign. Cattle ban will affect us, Mieti Allah tells Soludo. 2023 will be the hope of a new Nigeria. Stay tuned for details coming shortly. From the Champions News, IPOB denies involvement in Enugu Labour Party campaign attack. The indigenous people of Biafra has denied involvement in Sunday's attack of Labour Party's campaign ground in Enugu State. The group alleged that those behind the attacks were sponsored by Nigerian government and security agencies, particularly DSS and army personnel. Gunmen numbering about 4 had attacked members of the party who were holding a meeting in the local community. But in a statement by its media and publicity secretary, Ima Powerful, IPOB said it has no hand in the criminal activities, reiterating that its members remain peaceful and focused on how to secure a referendum date. It warned that those hired for such impersonation and demonization would soon incur the wrath of its volunteers and Eastern Security Network, ESN. The statement reads in part, "We condemn those who use the IPOB and Biafra insignia in what we knew as state-sponsored attack on the Labour Party campaign ground in Enugu State to blackmail IPOB. IPOB, under the command and leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, never instructed anyone to threaten or attack election campaign ground. If IPOB wish to do so, we will make it open, and Nigerian government and the security agencies will hear the sound. Anybody or criminal groups hired for such impersonation and demonization will soon incur the wrath of IPOB volunteers and ESN operatives." From the Daily Trust, cattle ban will affect us, Mieti Allah tells Soludo. The leadership of the Mieti Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, Southeast Zone, has appealed to the governor of Anambra State, Professor Charles Soludo, not to enforce the banning movement of cattle on foot in the state. According to the association, if the ban is enforced, it would affect its members' source of survival. During a meeting with members of Anambra State Cattle Menace Committee at the Government House, Oka, at the weekend, Soludo had announced a ban on the movement of cattle on foot in every part of Anambra. Soludo said the ban was in compliance with the 2021 anti-open grazing law of the state, adding that enforcement would begin from September 2022. He said, now that they have a law banning open grazing, the law enforcement agents have been directed to implement it. Though the law has been in existence since almost 1 year ago, cattle rearers keep parading certain areas in the state in contravention to the law, Soludo said. He added that his administration would ensure the implementation of the law by September. He applauded members of the Anambra State Cattle Menace Committee for their devotion to duty, saying that Anambra people have largely lived in harmony with headsmen, but the headsmen must conduct their business within the ambit of extant law. Willie Obiano, a former governor of the state, had assented to the cattle and other livestock open grazing Prohibition and Ranches Establishment Bill of Anambra State in 2021, but failed to enforce the ban. In his reaction to the development, leader of the association in the Southeast Zone, Gidado Sidiki, begged the governor to suspend the implementation at the moment to enable them educate their members more on how to go about it. He said, "A majority of us, Fulanese, don't know any business other than rearing cattle in the world. Some of us were born and bred in this rearing of cattle business here in Anambra State. We have no other place to go." From the Champion News, 2023 will be the hope of a new Nigeria. An article written by Pamela Ebo. When grace locates a man, the universe and even the ground he walks on stands still in admiration. While so many men in the likes of Joseph, Solomon, David, as recorded in the Bible, experienced such humongous grace in their time, the man Peter Obi appears to be that grace carrier of this generation. Obi, who came from the background of buying and selling into the arena of politics, has in a short period of political embrace threaded where others before him feared to keep. It is no longer news that the Agulu, Anambra State-born presidential candidate of the Labour Party, has become the status symbol and the face of a new movement seeking for a new Nigeria. A Nigeria bound in freedom, peace, unity, devoid of the old bloc banditry, killing, kidnapping for ransom, religion and ethnicity. A new Nigeria set for revolution to right the wrong. The massive movement for Obi presidency come 2023 and the hunger for change by the Nigerian populace is a direct result of the pains people feel at this point in history. Suffice it to say that the supposed giant of Africa has been plunged into total decay as a result of the consistent bad leadership laced with massive looting, endemic corruption, ethnicity. Hence, the masses, rich, poor, old, young, are tired and ready to push back. Though Obi comes from the mostly neglected region of the southeast, his followership and foot soldiers transcend beyond the east to the far north, west, and outside the shores of the country. This is not because Obi has the cutest six packs or is the tallest man in Africa, but because of his antecedents and policies. He may have been described as a stingy man, but he is a man that believes in spending where necessary and valuable. No wonder his ability to save lots of money for Anambra State while serving as governor. Without bias, Obi is the type Nigeria needs at this point to steer the lost ship back to the glory land where the working class can be able to cater for their needs with whatever they earn as salary. Although the journey may be thorny and may not also turn out exactly as those good old days, Obi certainly has the will, capacity, strength to get things right as he did while serving as Anambra State governor. An interesting article indeed. One wonders what good old days is being referred to here, or what glory land Obi will steer Nigeria into. But that brings an end to the news summaries for the week. This is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, thanking all of you for listening and saying goodbye, friends.
This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
Good day, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, fellow Biafrans. This is Rosama, and this is BCB. We haven't spent some time lately with Ojukwu, and so we return to Ojukwu's journal. or diary of events and selected speeches to look at his entry for the period between August 27th and September 13th, 1967. Biafra is now at war with Nigeria, and there is no backing away for Nigerians, and Biafrans are determined to protect themselves, to survive, and to secure their homeland. So, August 27th, I cable OAU and declare Biafra is ready to present its case before the next month's conference of the organization in Kinshasa. August 28, I announced to international press that although the war initiative is now in our hands, Biafra is prepared to cease hostilities immediately and negotiate with Nigeria. August 30th, Biafran forces, make further advances towards Lagos. Gowon plans to transfer his headquarters to Zaria as a, quote, temporary measure, unquote. This is disclosed by Gowon to his cabinet meeting. More than 5,000 Aba women demonstrate against the role of Britain and Russia in the war. Aba women at it again. It's good. September 2nd, Biafran forces destroy 2 Nigerian warplanes, one an L-29 jet fighter serial number NAF.401, and the other a Piaggio in Nsukka and Port Harcourt, respectively. September 5th, Dr. Akanu Ibiam, my advisor, renounces his British knighthood. September 6th, 2 enemy planes which are preparing to raid Biafra are destroyed on the ground at Makurdi Airport by Biafran Air Force. September 7th, 37 eminent Biafrans renounced their British colonial honors. September 10th, Chief Awolowo, leader of the Nigerian delegation in OAU meeting in Kinshasa, leaves Lagos for Congo. He tells the press that before the end of the meeting, Biafra will be crushed and the Biafran government will be overthrown. September 11th, OAU summit opens in Kinshasa. Biafra's case is presented by delegation led by Dr. M.I. Okpara, the last premier of former Eastern Nigeria and my political advisor. September 13th, normal postal, telephone, and telegraphic services between Biafra and Midwest are resumed. OAU Summit appoints a consultative committee under the chairmanship of Emperor Haile Selassie of Ethiopia to mediate between Nigeria and Biafra. The summit also passes a resolution ordering that mercenaries be cleared from the continent. The summit ends. Biafra 15th, encirclement of Nigerian troops in Nsukka by Biafran forces. Okay, so let's stop there and think about this. The war is escalating. Awolowo has decided, like Gowon, to presume that Biafra will be crushed overnight. And so they have underestimated Biafrans. We can see Ojukwu consulting, making a case for Biafra before the OAU. we know that several members of the OAU do not support Biafra, but we also know that we do have allies, a few member countries that support Biafra eventually. Okay, so we're going to stop here and then continue next time. And so for now, we will leave you with Ojukwu's diary entries. Much of it, of course, representing the resilience of Biafrans. In the face of war, in the face of tremendous mounting opposition from the rest of Nigeria, and also the global community here, the Soviet Union, then Soviet Union or Russia, in this case, and Britain, we note Biafrans developing their army, working to protect their land. This is Rosama. I hope that our people will take a moment to pause and think about this. Because right now, we must work to protect our land, our ancestral land, in the face of tremendous threats, not only from the federal government through its policies of land grabbing, especially this National Grazing Reserve Bill, but also in the form of the actions of the Fulani herdsmen who are making incursions into our ancestral lands. We must be vigilant. Some of our governors are betraying us by handing over our ancestral lands to these people, who then surround our small communities and destroy our communities. Think about it. Is cattle more important than your children? Is cattle more important than your families? Is cattle more important than your agricultural grazing land? There's nowhere else for us to go. And so we can't sit back and watch the limited resources we have in terms of agricultural farmlands destroyed, taken over by cattle herders whose singular goal is land grabbing to provide food for their cattle. How much meat do you really want to eat? Here is an idea. Why not just simply say you are no longer going to buy Fulani cattle or Fulani beef? What would happen? Imagine, just think about it. If, as a group, we decide that we have had enough of Fulani cattle, we have had enough of Fulani beef, and therefore we're not buying their beef anymore, then what? You don't buy the beef, there's no reason for them to bring their cattle south. But you can't continue to want their beef and then expect them not to bring their cattle south to graze on your farmlands, destroy the crops that feed you and your children. This is time to choose. This is time to make a stand. It is the beef or you. Who do you choose? You decide. I am Rosama, and this is BCB, the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra. We hope you join us next time for more news and updates on Biafra land. Like us on Facebook. You can always email us at bcb1967biafra@gmail.com. Send us your comments. And if you would like to talk to us at some point, let us know. We welcome all voices. Again, we thank BGIE, Biafra Government in Exile, for supporting us and supporting our work. We thank IPOB for continuing the fight. And we thank Bilie Human Rights Initiative for their work, for representing us, for advocating for our rights and dignity. We thank all the Biafra freedom fighters out there, known and unknown, who have kept the struggle alive, for making sure our story is told, for making sure that our voices are heard. I offer you peace. May the goddess, Allah, and the divine Amadiohan, God of justice, Allah, goddess of justice, may they protect us, because all we want is justice. For us, for this generation, for our young people, and also for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Peace. Thank you for joining us today.
Rising soul, rising soul. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. We've been crying, the world claim not to hear. And we've been lamenting, the world claim not to hear. Our tears flow, the world claim not to see. And our blood flow, the world claim not to see. This is a crime, oh no, against humanity, oh no, yeah, this is a crime. Eritrea spoke out, they were given independence. South Sudan spoke, they were given independence. Namibia spoke up, they were given independence. Give me the reason my people got to be neglected. Give me the reason my people got to be rejected. Give me the reason our freedom got to be a crime. Give me the reason our own freedom got to be denied. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Believe it or leave it. Oh no. Oh. trust. Today's heroes are fighting. This is a spiritual battle. Let us unite and give Biafra a meaning. If we don't take time, we can remain in this slavery. No freedom of speech, no freedom of expression, no freedom of worship, no freedom of religion. Justice denied. Oh, no. Of my own very people. Hey. Justice denied. Hey. On the rising sun. Hey. Justice denied. Oh, my freedom fighter. Yeah. What is so bad? My people wanna be liberated. What is so bad? My people wanna be independent. What is so bad? My people wanna be alone. This is the time we will make it known to the world. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hospitality, positive, education, positive, economic, positive, hospitality. I tell you what, positive. Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Biafra is the only hope of Africans. I tell you what, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. Hey, Biafra is the only hope of Africa. My people will cry. Biafrans will cry. My people are suffering. Oh, Biafrans are crying.
Thank you for listening to us today. Join us next time for news, cultural, and educational programs. This is the Broadcasting Corporation of Biafra, BCB.
Hail to